great power struggle, peer-to-peer conflicts, and trench warfare. The state of the world is once again in turmoil.
As the future of warfare is getting harder to predict, militaries around the world have to shift their thinking again. But as our wars today seem to be turning conventional, Green Berets are still going unconventional.
I have no sign of the boat. It should be coming up on the ramp. Roger, passing. Let me know when happens. Last ramp midship. Yes, gotcha.
What you just saw was a Helocast into the Baltic Sea by operators of the 28th Special Forces Group.
They are a reserve component for the United States Army National Guard, taskable by 1st Special Forces Command.
They train and fulfill the same mission set as active duty units, only in a reserve capacity, much like our own Finnish units.
This is Mighty Finland. Join us as we embed with an ODA for the duration of Swift Response 25.
Let's ask the team leader himself what he expects from this exercise.
We kind of like in the three, the direction that QRF is tentatively going to come for. So you'll disperse those guys.
Ready to live.
So the scenario here is that NATO member country or countries has been occupied by a foreign invader, and this is a good opportunity to hone the skills that NATO as an alliance needs to develop, things like joint forcible entry and the conditions that are required to shape that and make that successful to regain the territory. In this exercise, we're working to build the conditions and set the battlefield up to enable a joint forcible entry, in this case an airborne one, to retake that territory and practice what Article 5 support would actually look like in real time. We'll always expect top performance from the team. We always look to challenge ourselves and put ourselves in situations where we are uncomfortable because the environment that we train for is not going to be a comfortable one. So in this scenario particularly, really looking to hone some of the irregular skills that every Special Forces team needs to be good at, to include small unit tactics, basic development of networks, and building rapport and capability with our partner force. It's not often that we get an opportunity to come in a scenario like this and work with our European allies in a unique environment. So that's something that we're really spending a lot of time and trying to immerse ourselves in so we can get better and employ this skill in real time if we need to.
I think one of the main things is with the SF guys working with a local partner force is integrating different SOPs. They're all standardized pretty much, but you still got to make sure everybody's on the same page. That's what's happening here.
So as of tomorrow, based off the intelligence we have, it's about time that we put some effects on the enemy. This is a pretty good target right now. From what we understand, the enemy is in a pretty complacent state of security. So we think given the capability of you guys, given our current strength, together we're able to action this target in the next 24 hours.
Once we have the assault force at LOA, I'm going to reposition the vehicles. Machine gun team 1, they're going to be pulling security to the east, and our second machine gun is going to be pulling security to the south.
Once we come back down, we'll set the charges. We'll get the ring main set up, and then we'll be on standby until you're ready to begin the retrograde.
So keep in mind, gentlemen, this is a target we need to do clean, we need to do well, because this is going to be the easiest one we get, right? They don't really know we're here, they don't know we're competent. So let's execute well and violently enough that they don't get any radio calls out before they're all laying face down in the dirt, right? Because this is only going to increase their security posture more, and we can mitigate that by speed and violence on this objective. Hence why we're going to fire a mini out of a back of a van, right?
It's the geometry of it, but it's that road right here. And they'll start firing. Again, their left limit is this berm This is the mine wired obstacle, west side of the objective, and our support by fire is going to be to the south, firing north.
Current and fire, there's just tourniquets. We're not stopping to help you. And once we actually get to the LCC and then we bound back, we'll probably do some adjustments with SSC.
Hey boss man, do we need night vision?
Yes. We were bringing night vision.
Yep. You never know. Remember Mogadishu?
Don't get me started on Mogadishu.
We're not going to be out that long. That's what they said.
Well, but
All right, so in order to keep up with these guys, we need to have our own gear in check.
That's when we turn to our trusted sponsors.
Savox for the Gear Pro,
Savota for the backpacks.
and Varusteleka for the clothes. All right, we're Oscar Mike.
So,
Yep.
All right.
Dude,
Nice.
first raid down.
Yeah,
That was interesting.
That was definitely interesting. I mean, always going to be some friction, I think, when this was the first time the ODA
like
was working together with the partner force. But all in all, I think things went as well as one could expect, and know what they're going to say in the AAR and what their conclusions about this raid were. But
Yeah. I really like the use of firepower here. That was that was dope. Always want to see that. And yeah, just things are going to ramp up from here, and I'm excited to see what that looks like.
They definitely are. Yeah.
Okay, AR for IADS hit.
To give you guys kind of a frame of reference on how we typically do these things for our lovely brothers in arms. Typically we go by phase. So planning, movement, execution, exfiltration is how we'll structure it. It's just how we've always done things. Brutal honesty, trying to get better from it, trying to grow from it. So call yourself out, call your friends out. There's no hurt feelings here, right? We're all just trying to get better at killing people. So that's the game plan.
Pretty hasty planning process. We kind of planned it at more of an ODA level just because of how fast it needed to be and how we had to get eyes on target. But we had some good feedback from you guys to get there.
I was confused on the TOT time. I thought we were running out of time, so I was definitely booking it.
So originally we were working off a 2000 time on target timeline, because of the change in plans, ORP, how'd that go?
I feel like we were sitting there for a long time.
Yeah, I felt the same way.
Yeah, we played that lax for sure.
We'll clean that up for the next round.
Again, we planned on, hey, we're gonna stick to the left side of the road and stack trees. But then when we got out there and we saw how open it was, we were both like, hey man, we're gonna just cross this LDA. We control the LDA to a certain point because you guys are there. As you guys remember, the original plan was to kind of use psychology strategy of sensory overload to attack from different avenues. And again, the info you guys told us with a little bit of experience from me getting a vehicle stuck, driving in those roads or on like moon sand roads, it's just a recipe to fucking deadline your assault force.
We'll continue to do that. We'll make sure that we're implementing a couple rounds of rehearsals after the planning phase. I think it pays dividends on the back end, and it's definitely noticeable on objective.
Yeah.
You know, dude, I think it's really interesting that 20 Group is a reserve unit, you know?
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, coming from a nation of 5.5 million inhabitants, of which roughly 900,000 are reservists, I always find it super interesting when dealing with reservist stuff in general, and just being able to slap on an SF component top of that all, it's just like amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Like they don't have as much time to train probably as active duty units, but they remain that really high level of professionalism and operability. You know, I think that's really cool to see.
Yeah.
And I think we've seen that in Finland. If you have a well-trained reserve force, then it's a real force multiplier when they bring in stuff from their civilian life and a different kind of thinking, but they're also really well-trained soldiers.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think like now in this scenario, the Green Berets, they are master trainers, and they are here to train up the local force, or like the partner force.
Yeah.
So I think these guys who are also reservists are able to just like draw from own experiences in a completely different manner than maybe somebody who is career military, for example. So I think it adds a lot of value to the whole experience.
I think in this scenario, that they can probably put themselves in the local partner force shoes a bit more.
Definitely.
In the way they kind of have to move between two worlds, the military and the civilian side. So I think that adds value, like you said.
Yeah. Adds perspective.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Definitely. All right, let's talk work-life balance. You're a National Guard SF guy, you have a family, you have a day job. What does it take to manage all three?
Yeah, it's difficult, right? Because being in the National Guard, but in group, you have a non-traditional Guard schedule. So even though it's part-time, it's really more of a full-time job. It requires a lot of commitment. I travel a lot for my civilian job, so I'm not often home. With my family, they're always wondering where I am, and I'm not going to 1 week in a month for drill. I'm gone for weeks and weeks at a time. On top of that, being a medic, you don't get all of the up-to-date training. You go to a couple different trainings, maybe once every other year. So I also work as a paramedic at a local trauma center to keep my skills sharp. So we're always working, always training to get better, but it just comes back to you're juggling a lot of balls, and you just have to have the planning to see which ball can I drop and which one is the priority right now. Being in the National Guard has some other form of life outside of this. So most people have a civilian job, most people have families, and figuring out how to balance that, there's no right answer. Everyone has to do it differently according to their lives.
Just wanted to go over basic intel brief for the next operation that we're planning. I'll preface this with it's pretty light. We're gonna have to make a lot of assumptions based off what we know on the enemy, but we know at least enough to plan what will likely be an ambush operation. Our auxiliary and underground networks that you all have established and we've been building up, we were fed intelligence that enemy general is coming to, one, look at the damage that we cause, as well as micromanage ground and anti-air fires so that they can regain their defensive position in the area, right? 4 vehicles with 11 people, including the HVI, we're looking at potentially 12 packs on the objective. He's also been known to move with a small UAS forward reconnaissance element, so we will need to consider drone contingencies when we're planning this operation.
Eisenhower famously saying, plans are worthless, but planning is everything. It's very apparent every time we do one of these large-scale operations. Even though we try our best to get a 100% solid plan leading into an operation, just sometimes things fall through. You have to be prepared to be flexible and adjust on the fly. And then at the same time, like we might get a new mission We may be thinking we're going to do one thing, and then it's like, okay, hey, actually this is more important. You guys need to flex to this. You have like 24 hours. Get it done. You can't really go to your command and be like we can't do that. Like, you're never going to say that. What you're going to do is you're going to make it happen. That's why Eisenhower's quote is very near and dear to me, and I try to pass it on to all the other team members. Sometimes you do just get handed with a shitty situation, but you make it happen. So planning is important. It's like the cornerstone of what we do. I think what anyone like tactically does.
Coming from different backgrounds, you have big personalities, a lot of different experiences. Does that form into some sort of team culture?
I think it allows us to leverage those skill sets the guys bring from the civilian world. I mean, we're not active full-time, so we're bringing a lot of outside experience. In terms of the personalities, yes, we're all very different. I think the plus side of it is the guys that do have those kind of big personalities are kind of like some of the quieter guys. Like, we mesh together well and can still come together. We don't really get in fights or arguments a whole lot. Like, got a lot of friends on other teams, and it doesn't work like that for them. Like, teams fall apart when sometimes you have those clashing personalities, but I don't see it on this team. Like, it's kind of almost like a family.
What do you think creates that on this team?
We respect the leaders and want to succeed and be successful, but also the leaders do a good job at listening to the other guys on the team and understanding that there is experience. It's not a, I'm telling you to do this, you do it kind of thing. Like, it's open for discussion, it's open for consideration. Everybody wants to see each other succeed, and it's not this typical like hierarchical structure that you would see in the Army. A personal thing, I don't want to fail, not just because of myself. I don't want to fail because I don't want to fail, the guys on the team.
I think you can notice it, especially in your AARs, that you're not afraid to bring up stuff and sort of go against each other, but it also it diffuses quickly.
Yes, and that's what I kind of mean by like having the good leadership that's willing to listen. Yes, the AARs we're brutally honest. They tell us to do that right off the bat, but like when the AAR is over, it's done. Like, at no point in time have I ever said something that somebody disagreed with and then they held it against me later. It ends right there. We'll be brutally honest. It helps us build better as a team too. There's gonna be no repercussions for, speaking your mind to somebody if that's what you believe in.
I heard the next target will be an ambush. What do you think we'll see there?
Yeah, I think that'll be interesting. They got their own SOPs, we got our own, but I'm assuming, some sort of they'll block their movement, whatever they're ambushing, maybe like an L-shaped thing, get some crossfires going, then a shit ton of firepower, maybe some explosions.
Yep. I think that's right. I mean, just quick and dirty, in and out, There's beauty in simplicity sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I heard a bolt. Fucking re-engage.
Ceasefire! Ceasefire! Left side assault. Bound forward. Moving!
Let's go. Get him clear. Move.
Left side, let me know when you're good. Check the bed. Check the bed. Vehicle 2 clear. On your left, on your left. Aid and litter, move! Hey. Shot. 16 inches. Hey, jackpot! How long do you need?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. 3 minutes!
Litter
We need
this
3
side.
minutes!
Yep.
Let's roll him.
Where's that machine gun?
We have a GSW to the lower abdominal region. Entrance, no exit. Choke point on me. Roger.
Right there. Bring it in.
Seven. Head first. To your right.
Yeah.
You get to know you have to know.
The Joint Forcible Entry elements are en route to this AO. The US Special Forces all around Baltics have linked up with their local partner force to set conditions for the counterattack and shape the battle space for it to be successful. To achieve the desired end state, their operational tempo is picking up. For the most part, these shaping operations take place before any major operations in the theater. Though headlines may say there are no boots on the ground, it's because these guys wear sneakers. All right, we've been living with the team and the local partner force in the safe house now for well over a week, actually coming up to 2 weeks soon. It's been really interesting to see how the dynamic works within the team, and especially also towards us. Obviously, in the beginning when we got here, they especially the team guys had their guard up, like, what is this thing? But as we've lived with them, we've talked with them, they've let their guard down a little bit, they've gotten comfortable with us, and we've heard some amazing stories from these guys, and it's really cool to see how a team like this works and interacts. And I think that they also appreciate the way, the possibility of us telling their story sort of in a way that's not usually being told. It's not just high-speed stuff, it's a lot more to it, and I think they really appreciate that. Let me give you a tour of the safe house, the prime real estate here. So for us as Finns, this is obviously the most important place, the sauna. What you want to have is a safe house with a sauna. And what you have to know, in Finland, the lore goes so that when Finnish troops get deployed, first they'll set a sentry, second they'll start building a sauna, and then the camp is built around that. So we're really trying to bring that vibe into this place. And this is the equipment room. Yeah. All right, welcome to our room. The guys were nice enough to give us our own room to get some privacy going. For whatever reason, we decided not to use the actual bed that's in here, so we put up cots for ourselves to get a little bit of that field feeling, I don't know. It just do be like that sometimes. So I guess safe houses come in all shapes and sizes. With this exercise, we didn't know what to expect, but what we learned is with these guys, always expect the unexpected.
All right. Hey, so obviously we've got a couple different things going on. Kicking out a sabotage tonight. Op tempo is picking up a little bit because we are closing in on the JFE that we've been shaping conditions for actually occurring, right? But we are looking at that joint forcible entry happening within the next 48 hours. We are kind of a victim of our own success. The enemy has started to dedicate significant resources to our AO in order to stifle the resistance efforts, knowing that likely this will be the site of a forcible entry to turn the tide of this conflict. Because of that, they've dedicated one of their better counterintelligence command and control officers to the area, who has begun launching a counterinsurgency campaign. We finally got a ping this morning from our underground network that it looks like he has set up what appears to be not just a C2 node, but also some type of detention and interrogation facility. We believe he'll be there for the next 48 hours. We're going to go strike him and trying to eliminate this HVI, who will be call sign Cherry Picker. Synchronize infiltration routes and timing with our resistance partners to isolate the objective and prevent enemy reinforcement. We need to isolate and contain the objective to prevent the HVI from being a squirter or getting QRF disrupting our actions on.
All right, team leader, you were just planning the raid with your team, and you had some sort of 2 course of action plan there. Can you walk us through that, what the thinking is behind that?
Yeah, so the two course of action planning is a pretty useful tool when conducting the complex operations such as these, or ones that look simple but are really complex in execution. So the first part is it really allows us and our partners to plan at a joint level in smaller groups, right? So it increases that kind of meeting of the mind, so to speak. And allows us to develop a plan that both parties are bought into. It also creates a little healthy competition, right? Based off of the restraints that we place on the teams beforehand, whether that's allowed infill versus a surreptitious infill. The other aspect too is that when you do two COA development, which is doctrinal for us in the MDMP cycle, is that you get to see where the gaps may lie in a specific course of action. It's very easy to take a look at the map and immediately identify what you think is the best plan, but that can give you tunnel vision. When you give two teams different constraints and have them pursue two different ways of attacking the same problem, you expose a lot of the gaps you may not have seen before. And what that allows me to do as a commander is take a step back, not participate in any planning cell, and set the criteria for what I feel are important for not only this operation, but its impact 2-3 levels down the road in the overall campaign. So, those criteria can be things like surprise, feasibility, risk to force security, initiation, you name it. I usually pick 4 to 5. That gives me a grading scale that when I receive both briefs from the different teams, I can base off what I find to be important and how I score them, and that allows me to make a decision. And a lot of times, even with a decision from one group, we'll still integrate aspects from the other ones to fill the gaps that that one team may not have seen. So very useful tool to really attack a complex problem and make sure that our plan has the contingencies and the basics needed to execute successfully.
And now you're doing some sort of wargaming / red teaming to that COA that you just decided on, right?
Correct. So now that we've made the decision on which COA we're going to go with, we'll take what was good from the other one, we'll try to integrate them, and now we'll do detailed planning. So what I was briefed down there was broad concepts, broad scheme maneuver for how we would do it. Now we're going to get into, the nitty gritty, so to speak. What exactly are, the coordination lines? What are the directions of fire, right? Where's the actual vehicle drop off and pickup points, ORPs, etc. All those small things build in. We'll also, especially with the time that we have today, break off 2 or 3 guys to be the enemy and have them react as if we believe the enemy would, to further expose gaps in our plan, so that by the time we're actually on the X, we are able to execute our contingencies effectively.
So we understood the infill method for this exercise was pretty complex. How and why did you build this capability without direction from higher?
So I think it really started kind of at the grassroots level with some of the key members on the team having a capability in maritime operations and passion doing maritime operations in a hobby way.
In my opinion, like a lot of other seminal moments in my career, it was like a confluence of stuff that we had no control over, with the right place, right time, and the right people. Largely, some of the previous infiltration capabilities that we had stagnated, and skill sets were unsustainable based on some of the training limitations that we're experiencing. But we had a group of relatively young guys coupled with the right generational mix of senior guys with a lot of experience. And what it brought together was a motivation level that was as high as I've ever seen on an ODA. So, we built a maritime capability because largely that's some of the experience that we had on the team, but it could have been high alpine, it could have been any other complex technique. We had the motivation there, and we had the components and pieces that made sense to do that. And so I think what came together was the most natural combination of those ingredients, and we just wanted to train hard. There wasn't there was no directive, but the motivation became the core driving factor. We wanted to distinguish ourselves, and we wanted to develop a capability that was actually useful in a real world application.
We saw this hole in the infill platform realm, and we had some capabilities on the team. And I think we just found this niche at the right time, hit the ground running with it.
I think the other piece that's important to distinguish is that it's in the name, and I say it a lot to my guys, but operational detachment alpha, right? We're supposed to be a detachment. We shouldn't be relying on anybody for direction, minimally for support, we should largely be driving our own training and capabilities development based on our own concepts and drive. So seeing an ODA taking that initiative and going deep into it with a great deal of inertia, like that's what it's designed to do. I think removing some of those obstacles was really all that was necessary from a command perspective. We didn't need anything to get it done.
It was something we could self-support and really drive training on to an end state where you can make a complex infill like the one for this exercise.
At the end of the day, we don't want to be the scalpel that sits on the shelf. Like, I'd rather be the spork you use for everything. So building maritime capability just gives us, as I've heard, access to like 70% of the world's population. That was what our intent was, practicality.
This on top of it, but if not, it works sometimes. If you want to get your hands on it, but I'm going to just go over one last thing, which is just remedial action. So pop, so it's pull, like observe, push, squeeze, and then you'll fire again. What you can do is you can pull your rounds out, and maybe your rounds are bad. Just take like 2 or 3 of those rounds, rip them off, and then reload it. So put it back, put everything back on, salute, close it, and then go ahead, fucking try it, and it should be good to go.
When you guys start to move to the corner, not past the corner, but to the corner, he's gonna mitigate that exposure and that coverage from that corner. And as soon as I started to break the corner, I said, open door left. I get a squeeze on open door left. On me. That is at reach. When you say at reach, that tells me you got 2, firing, press fire, it'll go, and it'll drop the 36, right? Down, give it a squeeze. There you go.
We're going to talk through largely what we're going to see on the objective, what moving parts are going to happen. We're sparing the detail of the small unit stuff that got practiced in rehearsals. That was for the individual units. We're just going to work through the overall flow of scheme and maneuver, and then we're going to fucking clear this living room out, and we're going to fucking walk it. It seems ridiculous, but I promise you when things start happening on the objective, you're going to have a mental map that's a lot more refined and a lot more confident. If I can get a common picture into everybody's head, then when shit gets fucked up, because it always gets fucked up, at least you are confident in knowing what we're supposed to be doing. If you have questions in your mind about anybody else's actions, and we now start taking, you guys have an expression like Murphy's Law? Yeah. Now Murphy starts to fuck you, it's all over. Everything's gonna be chaos. And wrestling that chaos back into order sucks. So I want everybody to have the same picture that I have in my head, and then at least we're on the same sheet of music.
Bravo cell, south side security, alpha cell, north side security, or north eye cell.
Right. I think we're flip-flopping alpha cell and bravo.
Nodes with ATAC. Can I go ahead and turn mine on and connect? Is that what
1, 2, 3, 4. Later, man.
it. Good. Oh, fuck you.
Sorry.
Okay.
Hey, down here to help with the casualty.
Eagle.
3 minutes, so take your time.
Hey, tell me what you need.
Say, got a shot in the abdomen right here.
Alpha cell, vehicle 2 with the patient. Bravo 1 Zulu, fold in. Move to vehicle 1. Right here.
If you got hate in your heart, let it out.
ODAs operate in small units, but what they lack in size, they make up for in impact. Success or failure of an ODA can turn the tide of entire conflicts.
Their mission behind enemy lines, far from friendly forces, is simply a prologue for the combined arms effort that follows, shaping the way and clearing a path for conventional forces to enter the theater.
As the 173rd Airborne Brigade arrives from the sky, the war has only just begun. And now, it's time to switch sneakers for boots.